In the center of the Galactic Council chamber, among thousands of shimmering seats representing every advanced race in the galaxy, one seat had remained untouched for more than 300 years. It was not broken. It was not forgotten. It was simply empty. Made of silver alloy and black stone, the chair had the symbol of Earth on it, a blue sphere surrounded by stars. No one sat in it. No one cleaned it. Yet, no one dared remove it. The council called it the Silent Throne. And every year, on the day of Earth's disappearance, the room would fall into silence for 1 full minute. That day had come again. And something changed. As the minute of silence passed, a soft pulse of blue light came from the Earth seat. It was the first time in 3 centuries. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Representatives turned their eyes, tentacles, and sensors toward it. Some stood. Some whispered. Some simply froze. Councillor Jarnak of the Olteri Union, a lizard-like species with bright yellow eyes, leaned forward. Who activated it? No one. A machine voice replied from the center. That voice belonged to the Chamber Eye, a system so old and powerful that even the creators were forgotten. It had never lied, and it had never spoken about the Earth seat, until now. Earth's seat is active, the AI said. Access denied. Earth is watching. The entire chamber erupted into noise. How is this possible? Earth is dead. They haven't answered any signal in centuries. Did someone hack the system? Is it really Earth? In the back row, Councillor Vera of the Naren Swarm, a race known for data manipulation, spoke calmly. This is an error. Earth vanished during the second collapse. Their people scattered or died. Their systems fell. I propose we reclaim the seat. The council needs strength, not ghosts. Several councillors nodded. But just as Vera approached the empty chair, the entire chamber darkened. Lights flickered. Screens turned black. And then, the AI spoke again, louder this time. Unauthorized approach detected. This seat is not abandoned. Stand down. Vera stepped back immediately, face pale. This is not a system error. The lights returned. The pulse of blue light continued in slow rhythm, like a heartbeat. Deep inside the council chamber's control center, technicians worked quickly. They scanned the systems, searched for codes, traces, anything to explain what had happened. But there was nothing. No hack. No external signal. The activation had come from inside the chamber, directly linked to the Earth seat. That should have been impossible. Earth's communication systems were sealed off centuries ago after the Great Disconnection. No ships, no messages, no beacons. They had simply gone silent, leaving only the echo of their final message. Let us go. We will return when we must. That message had become a myth, a ghost story. But now, it felt like a warning. Back in the chamber, panic began to rise again. We must secure the area, said Councillor Drex from the Vakari clans. If Earth's systems are live, they could be watching us. Watching us. Jarnak hissed. They're gone. Then explain the pulse. Explain the AI's message. You can't. Silence fell again. And then the AI spoke once more, this time very quietly. Incoming signal detected. Origin. Sol system. Everyone froze. The Sol system was Earth's home. It had been dark for ages. No ships, no stations, no signs of life. And now, suddenly, it was talking. Put it on screen, the high speaker said. The chamber's central screen flickered. For a moment, nothing. Just stars. Then, from the darkness, a signal pattern began to blink. It wasn't an image or a voice. It was a code. Slow, steady, clear. We remember. 2 words. That was it. But those 2 words changed everything. Representatives looked around, fear in their eyes. Some backed away from the Earth seat. Others whispered prayers to their gods. Even Councillor Vera stood still, mouth open in disbelief. Is Earth coming back? Someone asked. No one answered, because in that moment, every being in the chamber understood something terrible and powerful. Earth had not forgotten. And worse, Earth had been watching. The message was short, just 2 words. We remember. But it was enough to freeze the entire Galactic Council chamber. The blinking signal continued on the screen, repeating every few seconds. It came from deep space, the Sol system, Earth's old home, a system believed to be dead for over 300 years. Now it was alive again. Counselor Jarnek, his scaled fingers trembling, stared at the screen. What does it mean? It means, whispered High Speaker Relna of the Yulin Order, they never truly left. Inside the control center, dozens of AI analysts and translators worked quickly to break down the signal. They checked for hidden messages, coded threats, traps, anything. But it was clean. Just a looped phrase. We remember. Over and over again. Back in the chamber, the council members began to argue. They're bluffing. Vera snapped. Earth was destroyed in the collapse. There's no way they survived. Drex of the Vakari clans spoke with slow certainty. We believed that. But what if we were wrong? What if they survived and waited? Until now. Some counselors nodded. Others shook their heads. The fear was growing. Vera slammed her hand on the console. This is a trick. Someone wants us afraid. I say we block the signal, shut down the seat, and end this once and for all. But the AI spoke again, cutting her off. Interference is forbidden. Earth's signal is protected under Galactic Accord Section 13-7. Silence. Everyone knew that law. It was an old one, signed by all major races after the human wars. It stated that no species could interfere with Earth's transmissions until their official return. They had all agreed to it. No one thought Earth would ever use it. Later that evening, the Emergency Council met in private. Only 12 were allowed inside, the highest minds in the galaxy, and none of them had answers. The oldest among them, a being called Thoros Prime, spoke at last. He was over 900 years old and had seen Earth's rise and fall with his own eyes. They warned us, he said, his voice slow and heavy. I was there when they left. They didn't beg. They didn't cry. They only said one thing. We will return when the galaxy needs us. Relna leaned forward. Do you think now is the time? Thoros Prime nodded. The galaxy is in chaos. Slave empires rise. Megacorporations control entire star systems. Corruption eats the council from within. Maybe this is why Earth is coming back. No one argued. They all knew it was true. The council had grown weak. 3 days later, the signal changed. It was still from Sol, still simple. But this time, it came with a visual. The chamber screen lit up. Stars spun in slow motion. Then a single planet came into view. Earth. But it was not like the old images. It looked alive, shielded with massive satellites, defense rings, and glowing orbital platforms. Ships moved in perfect patterns around the planet. Hundreds, maybe thousands. Gasps filled the chamber. They rebuilt. No, they evolved. Then the image shifted again. A human face appeared. An older man, eyes calm, hair gray, dressed in dark blue robes with silver lines. His gaze was sharp, not angry, not friendly, just focused. He spoke to the Galactic Council. This is Director Elias Ron, speaking for the people of Earth. We have watched. We have waited. We have seen your wars, your cruelty, your silence. And now, we are returning, not alone, not in anger, but with purpose. The image vanished. The room stayed silent for several long seconds, until someone whispered, "They're coming back." Counselor Jarnek stood. "We must prepare." "For war?" Vera asked, nervous. "No," Jarnak said. for something worse. Vera's voice trembled. What could be worse than Earth's return? Jarnak looked at her with serious eyes. Their judgment. For centuries, the galaxy had moved on without Earth. Trade networks expanded. New alliances formed. Wars came and went. Species rose and fell. And all that time, Earth had stayed silent. But now, Earth had spoken. And worse, Earth had started to move. In the darkest edges of the Sol system, a quiet fleet began to activate. They weren't ships like the Council had ever seen. They didn't hum with power, they whispered. Their hulls were black as night, shaped like blades, designed not to impress but to disappear. No banners, no markings, just silent purpose. From Pluto's shadow, hundreds of stealth vessels uncloaked and began formation. From the asteroid belt, massive carriers powered up, ships big enough to carry entire cities. Above Earth itself, a structure the size of a small moon flickered with blue light. Project Aegis, once believed to be a myth, was real, and it was fully operational. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, chaos ruled. Dozens of emergency meetings were called. Spies were sent. Probes were launched toward the Sol system, but none returned. Every probe vanished before reaching the edge of Earth's territory. No signals, no wreckage, just silence. Vera sat alone in her quarters, watching the last message from Director Elias Ron on repeat. His words haunted her. We are returning, not alone, not in anger, but with purpose. What did he mean? What purpose? In the outer systems, tension spread quickly. The Ulari Dominion began moving their fleets to defensive positions. The Xarn Syndicate started locking down borders. Some species even evacuated their outposts near human space. But others celebrated. Old allies of Earth, small forgotten species who had once been saved by humanity, now lit up beacons in support. The Archelan refugees, the Krell healers, even the silent monks of Teshar III sent out messages. Earth kept their promise. We stand ready. The Council tried to silence them. But the galaxy was already listening. On the Moon Titan, far from the glow of Earth, Director Elias Ron stood at a command deck inside a massive war room. Before him floated holograms of Council ships, star charts, and fleet positions. Around him stood not just humans, but other species. Archelan tacticians, Krell engineers, and one silent Teshari monk. This will not be a war of destruction, Ron said calmly. It will be a war of truth. We show the galaxy what the Council became, and what it tried to bury. The monks spoke for the first time. Their fear will spread faster than our ships. Ron nodded. Good. Let it. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, the AI suddenly activated again. Its voice was louder than before. Incoming transmission. Level Omega clearance. Human-coded. The screen lit up, showing not a face, but a map. The Sol system glowed red. Lines moved out from it, lines of travel, movement, invasion, or liberation. The map expanded. 30 Council outposts, 12 trade stations, 4 military posts, all marked. Then came a countdown, 72 hours, and one final line at the bottom. These systems were built on pain. We come to rewrite the story. Panic gripped the chamber. This is war. No, this is revenge. They're coming for blood. But High Speaker Relna stood slowly and raised her hand. No, she said softly. They are coming for justice. The others turned to her. Relna's face was pale, but her voice was strong. They gave us a warning. We ignored it. They gave us time. We wasted it. Now, Earth is moving, and we don't even know what they've become. Counselor Drex growled. Then we must find out before it's too late. Vera whispered, it might already be. In the shadows of space, Earth's ships didn't send warnings. They didn't light up comms or request landing rights. They just moved, one system at a time. And wherever they went, old secrets rose with them. The Council's black prisons, the hidden slave rings, the truth buried in classified files. Earth wasn't just returning. They were exposing everything. And in doing so, they weren't just feared. They were followed. They came without sound. No sirens, no bright warnings, no flashy declarations of war. Just ships, black and quiet, appearing above forgotten planets and broken space stations. They didn't fire first. They never needed to. Because everywhere Earth arrived, they found people already waiting. The first was the Veltran system, a mining colony run by the Xarn Syndicate. For years, its people were forced to work in poisonous tunnels for scraps. The Council had ignored every distress call. So had the lawkeepers. The cries of the Veltran were silenced with bribes and fear. Then Earth arrived. The skies above Veltran filled with shadows, massive carriers, and sleek frigates gliding silently over the planet. The Xarn guards prepared for a fight. But Earth never fired. Instead, they hacked every Xarn comm, every camera, every screen, and played one message. To the workers of Veltran, you are no longer property. Within minutes, Earth's strike teams landed. They didn't shoot to kill. They used stun rounds, precision pulses, disarm bots. In just under 2 hours, the entire Xarn control force had been captured. When the Council demanded to know what happened, Earth sent back footage. Thousands of sick, beaten workers cheering in the streets. Children crying as human medics gave them food. Old Veltran miners falling to their knees, thanking soldiers who spoke softly and smiled. The Council watched in silence. Some were horrified. Others, ashamed. The second system was Draxus 4, a remote moon where illegal labs ran gene experiments on sentient life. For profit. The Council denied involvement. Earth didn't ask for permission. Their ships came through the asteroid field like ghosts, slipping past defense grids in complete silence. Inside the labs, scientists panicked. They tried to wipe data, hide evidence, but Earth already had it all. By the time the lab's alarms went off, Earth's agents were already inside, walking through walls, disabling guards with shocking precision. The labs were dismantled piece by piece. Every test subject was freed. And again, Earth recorded everything. They sent it to every major news net in the galaxy. The title read, "You called us gone. We call it justice." By the end of the week, Earth had liberated 6 systems. Not conquered. Liberated. They didn't take resources. They didn't plant flags. They left each system in the hands of its people, rebuilding schools, power grids, and offering protection if asked. Many asked. Some begged. And with every step forward, more species remembered the old stories. Stories of Earth saving the weak. Stories of humans sacrificing themselves for strangers. Stories the Council had buried long ago. Now those stories were living again. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, panic had turned to division. Half the Council demanded war. We must crush Earth before their influence spreads. The other half hesitated. They're not killing. They're freeing. And behind every debate was fear. Because for the first time in centuries, people had hope again. Hope that the Council wasn't the final word. Hope that someone stronger, kinder, braver had returned. And the galaxy was listening. In a secret chamber far from the main Council floor, Vera sat with 2 other high-ranking officials. "They're growing too fast," one hissed. "If they reach the inner systems, we lose control." Vera didn't respond at first. She watched a screen showing the latest liberated planet, Thessia, once ruled by a warlord allied with the Council. Now, children flew Earth banners. Soldiers were handing out clean water. Doctors from 10 species worked side by side in new clinics. The other official slammed his fist. "What do we do?" Vera's voice was soft, but dangerous. "We give the galaxy a reason to fear them again." The others turned. Vera's eyes were cold. We find Earth's secret, what kept them hidden for 300 years. Then, we use it against them. But even as the council plotted, something else stirred. Because Earth wasn't just moving with ships. They were moving with ideas. Ideas of freedom, of unity, of truth. And in deep space, something ancient was awakening. Something Earth had left behind long ago. A final warning to the galaxy. If you forget what humanity is, you'll remember soon enough. The galaxy had always believed Earth was a forgotten world. Broken, lost, extinct even. A failed experiment of nature, abandoned by the Council after humanity's mysterious disappearance. For centuries, the Council had used this belief to control the galaxy, to rewrite history in their favor. But now, everything was unraveling. Far from the Galactic Council's polished halls, in a forgotten sector of space, Earth's ships moved with deadly precision. The silent armada had grown, not in size, but in purpose. It was no longer just about liberating systems. Now, Earth was uncovering something more. The Council's dirty secret, and Earth's terrifying truth. Director Elias Ron, once an ordinary soldier, now led humanity's return. His voice was calm, but there was an edge of steel in it. It's time. He stood in front of a massive hologram, displaying ancient council files. Each file was marked with the same symbol. Level Alpha, highest clearance. These were the files that no one in the galaxy was ever meant to see. Ron reached out and opened the oldest file, a document written centuries ago. It was a report on Earth's fall, a planet of disorder, a species deemed unfit for galactic society. The report wasn't just a condemnation. It was a plan. The Council had seen humanity as a threat, a species capable of defying the laws of the galaxy, not because they were strong or technologically advanced, but because they were something far worse. They were unpredictable. The Council had feared humanity's potential to disrupt their control, and so they erased them. Literally. Ron looked up from the hologram, his face grim. He had always suspected something was off, but now he had proof. Earth's disappearance hadn't been a tragedy, it had been an execution. The Council had engineered Earth's fall. They had orchestrated the Great Silence. Every record of humanity's existence had been erased from the galactic archives. Not just erased, but deliberately buried. The Council had made sure no one would remember Earth's greatest asset, human resilience. Now, Ron had a choice. Continue liberating worlds, or expose the Council for what they truly were. But the truth wasn't just about exposing a lie. It was about unveiling the real reason Earth had disappeared. Vera sat in the darkness of her personal quarters, reviewing the files sent by Earth's spies. She had seen enough. The Council had been working with the Xarn Syndicate and other corrupt powers to hide the truth. They had manipulated history, spreading false narratives of Earth's destruction. They'd hidden the fact that Earth was still alive, biding its time, waiting for the day they would return. Not to conquer, not to invade, but to punish. The ancient technology humans had developed was far beyond anything the Council had ever anticipated. The power to manipulate time, space, and even consciousness, gifts humanity had once kept secret from the rest of the galaxy. And now, Earth was ready to unleash it. The signal came in quietly, hidden beneath layers of security. It wasn't from a human ship. It wasn't from any of the systems Earth had liberated. This signal came from deep within the Sol system, buried within the old remains of Earth's Project Aegis. The message was simple, encoded in a pattern no one could decipher, except one person, Vera. The code resonated with a deep familiarity. Her fingers trembled as she cracked the encryption. It was a voice, a whisper, familiar. Her breath caught in her throat. The reckoning has begun. Vera's mind raced. No one had heard that voice in over 300 years. It was the voice of Earth's first emperor, the first human leader who had united all of Earth under a single banner of peace, a leader whose existence had been erased, whose name had been buried in the depths of time. But she remembered. As the message continued, Vera learned of something even more terrifying. Earth had not just been hiding in silence. They had been preparing. For centuries, humanity had been perfecting their ancient weapons, their final weapon, the Prometheus Protocol. A weapon capable of wiping out entire fleets without firing a single shot. The Prometheus Protocol was not a weapon of destruction. It was a weapon of control. It could take over the minds of anyone within its reach, bending them to humanity's will. And the Council, thinking Earth was gone, had never considered that the protocol was still active. Now, Earth's ships moved through the galaxy, not just liberating, but infiltrating, influencing. Director Ron watched as his fleet passed the outer rim of Council territory. His fleet was not just humans anymore. It was a coalition of species that Earth had saved. Earth had done what no one else had dared. They had started a revolution. But this was no ordinary revolution. This was humanity's revolution. The galaxy would never be the same. The Council was beginning to realize this. And they were terrified. Back in the Council chamber, the High Speaker stood before the assembly, her voice shaking. "We've made a mistake. We've underestimated Earth." And now, suddenly, the chamber lights flickered. A cold, unshakable voice echoed from the darkness. "You are not the rulers of this galaxy. We are." The screen behind the speaker lit up, showing Earth's fleet in full formation. And behind them, a symbol glowed, an ancient symbol that the galaxy had long forgotten. It was the symbol of humanity's return. The galaxy had never been this close to collapse. The Council had never been so scared. And Earth had never been more alive. The Council had one last card to play. The High Speaker stood in front of the entire assembly, her hands shaking. The room buzzed with whispers, but no one could form a plan. The fear was palpable. The humans had crossed the line, liberating worlds, exposing secrets, and now, with the Prometheus Protocol ready to activate, they had all but declared war. Yet the High Speaker was determined. She slammed her hand on the console. "We need to destroy them before they can act." Her voice was cold, but underneath there was a tremor of desperation. The Council's last gamble was their only hope, the Revelation Cannon. An ancient weapon hidden deep within the heart of the Council's capital, capable of destroying entire systems with one shot. It was the ultimate weapon, capable of silencing Earth's influence once and for all. But there was one problem. The Revelation Cannon required a unique power source, an ancient artifact hidden within the heart of the Sol system, and that artifact was no longer under the Council's control. It was in the hands of Earth. On the edges of Council territory, the humans were gathering. Earth's fleet had grown, now numbering in the hundreds of ships. They were not just liberating systems anymore. They were preparing for something much larger, something galactic in scope. Director Elias Ron stood on the bridge of the flagship, staring at the holographic display. He was calm, but his mind raced. The revelation had come too late for the Council. They didn't know what humanity had been doing for centuries. For over 300 years, Earth had been secretly perfecting their final weapon, not just the Prometheus Protocol, but the Nexus Core. The Nexus Core was capable of unlocking the deepest secrets of the galaxy's technologies, bending them to human will. The Nexus Core was Earth's greatest secret. It was the key to everything, a weapon more powerful than any the Council had ever dreamed of. And now it was time to use it. Ron's fingers tapped the console. "Prepare the fleet. We're moving toward Sol. The final phase begins." The countdown began. Back in the Council chamber, a High Speaker's plan was set into motion. The Revelation Cannon was activated. Its immense power coursed through the chamber, and the massive weapon began to hum. The Council was betting everything on one shot. If they could destroy Earth's Nexus Core, they would neutralize humanity's advantage. They would break the back of the rebellion, and the galaxy would fall back under their rule. But something had gone wrong. The chamber doors slammed open, and an urgent message was broadcast to the high speaker. Director Ron is moving toward Saul. He's unlocking the Nexus core. The high speaker's face paled. Activate the cannon. Now. But there was a delay. The Revelation cannon was designed to be unstoppable, yet it needed a direct connection to the Nexus core. It needed to be within reach of the artifact. And Earth's ships were already moving too fast. On Earth's flagship, Ron stood before the Nexus core, a massive device of ancient design. It pulsed with energy, humming with a strange, otherworldly force. Ron's eyes narrowed. Initiate the sequence. He had one goal in mind: to unlock the Revelation cannon's code. Earth had the key now, and they would use it. The Nexus core hummed louder, vibrating with power. Ron could feel the weight of it, the pressure of humanity's future riding on his decision. A message blinked on his console. Warning: Council cannon firing in 3 minutes. Time was running out. The tension in the council chamber was unbearable. The Revelation cannon was charging, its energy levels rising to catastrophic levels. The high speaker stood, watching the readings as if her very life depended on them. But in the distance, something changed. The Revelation cannon's signal was being redirected. Suddenly, it wasn't Earth that was vulnerable. It was the Council. Ron's voice rang through the ship's speakers, calm and calculated. We've done it. The Nexus core has unlocked the Revelation's code. A strange silence fell over the fleet. The ships didn't just fire. They hacked. They rewrote. One by one, the Council's defense systems blinked off. The Revelation cannon, the ultimate weapon, was no longer under their control. And now, humanity had it. Vera watched in stunned silence as the monitors showed the Revelation cannon's core, flickering, stuttering, and finally, going dark. The message was clear. It was over. The Council had no more cards to play. The next move belonged to Earth. And this time, the galaxy would be forced to choose, to live under the old rule or to embrace humanity's new vision of the future. On the outskirts of the galaxy, Ron stood before his fleet, his eyes fixed on Earth. The battle had just begun, but it was no longer a fight for freedom. It was a fight for the future of every star, every world, every life in the galaxy. And humanity wasn't just going to survive. They were going to lead. As the final moments of the countdown ticked away, the message Earth had broadcast across the stars echoed through the galaxy. The Council had their chance. Now, the galaxy belongs to us. And the galaxy listened. The galaxy held its breath. For weeks, the news had spread like wildfire. Earth was no longer a distant, forgotten world. It was the heartbeat of a new revolution, and the power behind it was undeniable. The Council had fallen silent, unable to respond as their most powerful weapon had been turned against them. Their fleets had been disabled, their defenses overridden. For the first time in centuries, they were no longer in control. Now, the galaxy awaited humanity's next move. On Earth's flagship, Director Elias Ron stood before a holographic display, the stars stretching out before him. Behind him, his crew moved quietly, but their eyes were full of anticipation. This was it, the moment that would decide the future. He turned to face his officers, his voice steady, but heavy with the weight of their task. We've won the battle. But now, we must decide how we will use our power. We're not just fighting for our survival anymore. We're fighting for a new order. There were murmurs around the room. The question that had been hanging in the air for weeks now was finally being asked. The question that everyone had feared. What would Earth do with this newfound power? Would they become just like the Council they have destroyed? Would they rule with an iron fist? Or would they choose a path of mercy, one that could heal the broken galaxy? Far away, in the heart of the galaxy, the Council's remnants gathered in secret. The once untouchable leaders now cowered in their own chambers. Their plans had been shattered. Their future uncertain. "We can still fight back," one of them said, voice trembling. "We have fleets in reserve. We can reclaim the galaxy. Punish Earth for what they've done. Another voice, softer, almost broken, replied, "We've seen their power. We can't fight that." The room fell into silence. The truth was undeniable. Earth wasn't just a threat anymore. It was a force that could reshape everything. Back on Earth, the final decision was being made. The Nexus core hummed with an energy all its own, its ancient power still coursing through the fleet's systems. Ron knew that the galaxy would never be the same again. He stared out at the stars, his eyes reflecting a deep resolve. The power was in his hands now, in human hands. But what did that mean? What do we want for the future? He muttered to himself. What do we want humanity to be? The message was broadcast across the galaxy, loud and clear. The Council has fallen. Humanity stands at the crossroads of the future. We have won, but what happens next is up to us. We choose to lead, not with fear, but with hope. The galaxy will thrive, or it will die. Together. We must rebuild. Together. The reaction was swift. The rebellion didn't collapse. It expanded. Alien species, once oppressed by the Council, rallied to Earth's side. They had seen humanity's strength, their resilience, and now they saw something even more powerful, a vision of a new galaxy, one without the tyranny of the Council. The galaxy began to heal, slowly but surely. It was a process that would take time, but Earth's leadership was the spark that lit the way. The Council's remaining forces were scattered and divided. Some chose to surrender, offering peace. Others fled, but they knew the end had come. The age of the Council was over. The Revelation Cannon, once their ultimate weapon, now lay dormant. Its power no longer belonged to them. Humanity had not chosen to conquer. They had not chosen to destroy. They had chosen to lead. But their leadership wasn't about domination. It was about unity, about building a galaxy that was stronger together than it ever could be apart. It was a new beginning. And yet, not all questions had been answered. Would humanity's rule last? Would they remain the force for good, or would they one day become like the Council they had destroyed? Only time would tell. As Ron stood before his fleet, he felt the weight of the moment, but also a strange peace. "We have fought for our place in the stars," he said, his voice unwavering. "Now we'll lead, and we'll do it with strength, wisdom, and compassion." The galaxy would never be the same, and humanity would no longer be a forgotten world. They would be the heart of a new era. The era of the human dominion. The era where the galaxy truly belonged to all. And as the ships moved forward, toward the next chapter, a single, quiet message echoed from Earth's core. "This is only the beginning."